This is FUTV, we are live, I'm Adam, welcome along to the show everybody. We have loads to get through, we're going to do all of the news first, then get into some comments from the live section. So please do talk amongst yourselves about all of the stories we're talking about on the live show today. Want to get into details on Victor Gyökeres, the situation where this story has materialised from. An update on Marcus Rashford, Onana, Dalot's injury, back for the final maybe, we'll talk about that. Update on Ederson from Atalanta, and daylight robbery that could have been in the robbery form. Yeah, it's a little bit of a joke. Sorry about that, everyone. But we're going to talk about quite a lot. Manchester United are about to sign a goalkeeper. It's someone who's already at the club. He's about to get a new contract, and it's not Onana. Look, we've got loads to talk about. I want to get right into this as well, so please do drop your comments in the live section if you are live. If you are watching later on, all of your information will be in the first 20 minutes of this video, and then there will be a section at the end for everybody's live comments as well. So if you are catching up, that's where your information is. Starting with Victor Gyökeres. Where did this story come from in terms of everybody talking about it this afternoon? We spoke about it on the last two shows now. If United win the Champions League, steady on now, Adam. If United win the Europa League and get into the Champions League, not actually win the Champions League, that's a million light years away, as we all know. But if United win the Europa League, Gyökeres is on the table. This has always been the case and always will be the case for Manchester United. And these are the reports that have been going around all of a sudden because United have got, close to the final, and it does look realistic that United can win the Europa League. If we get through Bilbao, then you have to look at United as favourites, and going into a game against either Bodo Glimt or Spurs in the final, you put United right up there with a big chance. So speculation is rife, everybody's talking. Hang on a minute, Gyökeres to Manchester United is actually a real thing, and all of a sudden, I don't know if journalists are backtracking on what they've said before and going back in on the fact that, you know what, United have had conversations about Gyökeres before. Now, we don't know if Liam Delap is going to decide where he's going. Apparently, even with Manchester United in the Champions League, might still not be a goal for Manchester United. Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to run through the stories and actually go through all of the headlines from what's been said this afternoon. Let's just get into everything as it happened, basically, for Manchester United. So, the first story come out from Ben Jacobs earlier on, which said Liam Delap is expected to prioritise European football, whereas Matthias Cunha is prepared to join Manchester United without Delap. Delap is likely to wait until the end of the season to make his decision on where he goes. Still likely to be a quick transfer, as all suitors prepared to trigger the clause, and Delap expected to pick his next club before heading out to the under-21s Euro Championships with England. And that's we already know about, but obviously prioritising Europe, United do have to be in Europe, like we said before, if Delap is to come to United. But the question they've asked, and I put a poll up earlier on the channel on YouTube actually, and it's over the last hour, and over 1,000 people have voted on this already. Who is the better deal for Manchester United, Gyökeres or Delap? And everybody near enough, about 87% of the poll has gone down the road of Victor Gyökeres being the best deal, because he's not that much more when it comes to the actual transfer. Yeah, it is, obviously. It's 30 million compared to 58, but the guarantee factor, you're not paying much more for guaranteed goals in Victor Gyökeres. So I think that's why most people have gone with that. But that was story number one. And then we started to get stories circulating around Victor Gyökeres, which first of all came out from Christopher Michael. And he said that to have a good chance of attaining Victor Gyökeres, Manchester United would have to win the Europa League this season. The player wants the club who will play in the Champions League next season. We've known this already. We have known this already. And it's like, why are people talking about it all of a sudden? It pricks people's ears up and everyone starts taking notice. And then after that, we got more news from, this was the big one, Florian Plettenberg, who has now come out and said that there is still no agreement between Manchester United and Victor Gyökeres. He has not given the green light yet. Ruben Amorim is keen on him. Concrete talks have already taken place. So let's just read back through that again from what Florian Plettenberg said. There is still no agreement. Still no agreement. Like, we've been talking about him for ages and he's been our top target. We've been nowhere near Gyökeres for like 3 months now. It's been Osimhen, it's been Delap. There's been no sign of Victor Gyökeres at all. Two Victors is well going to trip me up in it while I'm live, honestly. But all of a sudden he's saying there is still no agreement, which doesn't make sense at all. Manchester United, between Man United and Victor Gyökeres, he has not given the green light yet. What? Like, yeah, obviously we knew this all along. There was never any deal there, but he's talking like Man United have actually been speaking to Gyökeres. And then at the end of it, he says, Ruben Amorim is very keen. Concrete talks have already taken place. So United have actually talked to Sporting, talked to Victor Gyökeres' representation. Obviously, he's not going to give the green light because United are not in Europe yet. And obviously, there is no agreement because Manchester United don't know what their finances are. But we were led to believe by The Athletic that Victor Gyökeres was completely off the table because Manchester United were not going to spend 58 million on a player that was turning 27. Now, I explained earlier on today that 27-year-old player for Manchester United, if you're not in the Champions League, looks like really, it looked like you're really going to struggle to pay that money. But then again, if you are in the Champions League, and this is where everything is so different, and the only reason we were looking at Victor Osimhen was because of Champions League money, really, and that's what Romano was hinting to. Be interesting to see if The Athletic and Fabrizio Romano come out and knock down Sky Germany and Florian Plettenberg, because it's still quite a big fish in Florian Plettenberg saying this, and coming out and saying that concrete talks have already taken place. That's quite a statement. That there is saying that Manchester United have fully been in negotiations with Sporting and with Gyökeres' people on this. So he knows that he's leaving this summer. He's just going to decide on the club. So the fee is set, and only clubs that were selected within his clause of his contract, which includes United, Arsenal and a few others, will be able to spend the release clause of 58 million on Gyökeres. So United know what the fee is. There's no haggling around the fee at all. And they're also going to have spoken with Victor Gyökeres because I think Ruben Amorim knows him. So if Florian Plettenberg is saying that Gyökeres is actually still deciding on his career path and which club he goes to in the summer, and then obviously talks have already taken place, then he knows what Man United are offering. And we know that United don't usually get beaten on contracts. So it is all going to come down to 3 games of football again for Manchester United to get the most elite and deadliest striker in Europe right now, which is Victor Gyökeres. And then you look at the fee and you're going, right, okay, so you've got 25-year-old Matheus Cunha, who United are going to spend £63 million on, no problem at all. And you've got someone who is 26 right now, who you won't be spending money on because he's turning 27 next. Well, Cunha's turning 26 next. What does a year make when it comes to being in the biggest competition? Have The Athletic missed the trick here in what they reported? Is it all on Manchester United won't spend 58 million on a player turning 27 next season if they're not in the Champions League? Because if you're in the Champions League, you can afford a 27-year-old on 58 million because the Champions League pays for that itself. And then if you want to stay in that competition and sustain, then you do need the best in class there to build your younger developing team around these players and give them chance. Now, I'm sure that, yes, them financial figures and that projection from Manchester United being in the Europa League for the next 4 years was on the money. I'm not arguing with Manchester United's new management team right now on that, but if there's a chance that United can be in the Champions League for at least 1 or 2 of them years, then that definitely is going to help out the old pockets and the bank account, isn't it? So, Gyökeres helps United stay in the Champions League. That's the big one. United's only hope next season of Champions League football is by either winning the Champions League if we win the Europa League this season or finishing in the top 4. You might as well go for it while you're in it and take as much money as you possibly can to pay for Victor Gyökeres. And in the meantime, he's helping Man United stay in the top 4. I don't see the issue in it. You can look at future-proofing players and looking at longevity and everything that is sustainable for the football club financially in the future. But what about the here and now? Can Gyökeres earn Manchester United more money by competing at the top level and helping us compete at the top level? Yes, he can. Does that effectively pay for his transfer fee and wages? Yes, it does, along with all the other players that Manchester United are bringing in this summer. The Champions League seems to be opening the door, and all of these reports all of a sudden that are coming out about Gyökeres, you tend to start forgetting about Liam Delap. And I've said this earlier on, and if you didn't see the early morning show, I made a point that maybe Manchester United, if they get Champions League football, could actually afford to buy Dalot and Gyökeres. Because let's not forget, Manchester United were buying Dalot without Champions League money. They could afford him. They wanted to get these deals done. The only thing that they came up against was Dalot saying he wants to decide where he wants to go because of the European football, not the money. United can afford that. So if we can afford that without Champions League, then with Champions League it's easier. And then what extra money we've got, maybe we get Gyökeres as well. Then maybe we let Rasmus Højlund leave. I said this earlier on, and that was just me playing FIFA, to be honest. But it is definitely doable. I was having a laugh with Kaz about this the other day. It's like, you can imagine if Jason Wilcox and Christopher Vivel and Omar Barada watched one of the shows and they're looking in on us saying, yeah, is it as if it was that easy just to make them things happen? Look, we can all dream and we can all think that these are definitely possible transfers, and it's what we would like as a fan base. But the finances don't lie. We don't have to listen to football finance experts. Yes, we do in terms of how they break down the sums, but everybody can see the finances. United have to release them, so there's nothing hidden. And then when these financial experts break it down, we can all see that Manchester United can actually afford to bring in both Dalot and Gyökeres for a fee less than 90 million quid for two top strikers. And Dalot, then I don't think anybody would have a problem with in turning up at Manchester United next season, because he's going to be working alongside one of the most established and prolific strikers in Europe right now. That's my case on that, but that's where we're at with Gyökeres right now. Concrete talks have been held, and United are very interested in Gyökeres. Finances will determine, obviously, where he ends up going. In terms of Manchester United also affording another striker and the Champions League money coming in, is the outgoing section. And Marcus Rashford is one of them players that is going to be leaving this summer. Manchester United have been in talks with Aston Villa regarding Marcus Rashford and sending him back with this latest injury. But also what you've got to remember in all of this is as well that he hasn't got much time left. And Marcus Rashford has to be fit for the 18th of May. That's the last game that Villa play this season. Otherwise, he's just coming straight back to United, because the last game of the season he can't play in because it's against us. So Villa's last game is the 18th of May. And Marcus Rashford has to get over this hamstring injury from now until then. So just over 2 weeks. I don't see that happening. I see Rashford coming back. But there is more news coming out today saying that Marcus Rashford is not going to go to Aston Villa. He doesn't want to go to Villa next season. His mind is made up. He wants to go Barcelona. And he is willing to take a pay cut to get to Barcelona. Oh, thank you, Marcus. That is very, very kind of you. But again, that one just baffles me. It really does, because honestly, someone needs to really, really sit that man down and have a quiet word with him. Maybe even a stern word with him, and just tell him, like, where do you think you are? Like, who do you think you are? You think you're really... And don't get me wrong. Look, if the rumours are true and Rafinha does end up leaving Barcelona for a monumental fee, obviously Lewandowski's not getting any younger. You've got Yamal there, obviously, as they were their main three this season, Barcelona's. Yamal, Lewandowski and Rafinha. That's the top three, lethal. Rafinha's had the season of his life under Hansi Flick. But if the rumours are true and Rafinha does end up going, there is a lot of rumours, by the way, then maybe Rashford fits in on that left. I don't know. Obviously, they would make an absolute packet on Rafinha, because the report is he might even be going to Saudi. So that would be upwards of 75 to 80 million for Rafinha. So that would be big profit for Barca. And then they would be able to afford him. But if Rashford has come out and actually said, I don't think he has come out and said, but these are the reports coming from his camp, that he is willing to actually take a pay cut to go to Barcelona. And that's where he wants to go. Again, like I just said, I think he's ahead of himself, and I don't see this happening. But one thing I will always say is, like, never say never. And United will obviously already know exactly who is available for Marcus Rashford, who can afford Marcus Rashford. They just want him off the books so they can work with what we've just talked about then, and maybe Dalot and Gyökeres. That, I think, is where United are at right now. But that is your update on Marcus Rashford as well. He wants to go to Barcelona. He thinks he is good enough to play at the top level in La Liga. I think he is in for a big surprise this summer. But then again, some people still think that Marcus Rashford is the be-all and end-all. And maybe it is just me and my own personal opinion. But do comment in and let me know on that one. Is Marcus Rashford getting ahead of himself? That's another question for you to answer in the comment section. Right, I'm just going to do a little bit of a section on the live chat right now, so get your comments in, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. We have well over 1,000 in the room with us right now, which is brilliant. Slightly earlier tonight, obviously, it's Champions League night, so I want to get settled in and enjoy the football tonight, as I'm sure many of you do as well, so we've gone a little bit earlier on this one. We do have Silverback in the chat as well, who was a winner on the Match Bingo game the other day. Silverback, absolute legend. Make sure that you do join the fun and join the party on Match Bingo. You can get involved in tonight's game, actually. Arsenal against PSG. I was going to say Real Madrid then for a moment, but yes, if you are unsure what I'm talking about in terms of a Match Bingo, you know what it is. It's just like going to the bingo hall but watching a football game. You get a throw in, you get an offside, you score a goal. If you get 5 in a row in a line, you win 25 quid. If you get another 5 in a row, you win another 25 quid. And the jackpot tonight, I think he's up to 350 quid for the Arsenal game. So download the app off the QR code on your screen there, everybody, just to the bottom left-hand corner, or drop down into the description. The link is there. One of the mods will drop it into the live chat right now. You are missing out because we gifted out 350 quid to FUTV subscribers this weekend for the Bournemouth game, and they are all in the chat right now. So absolutely loved that. It was brilliant. And you can carry on the fun today. Use my code, use my link, get in there. £2 a line, that's all it is. And you could be winning the prize again. You could be getting a jackpot tonight. But that was the weekend. All to be involved in a game like tonight as a United fan, eh? Them days may come again, especially if we sign Gyökeres. Andrew Short has just gifted 5 memberships to the chat as well. Please do make sure that you give Andrew a big fat thank you. Do Manchester United get up there next season if we've got Gyökeres in our team? Let's see if anybody's talking about that in the live chat right now. That messes up our plan and strategy of signing Dalot if this financial window, since we have room, and therefore messes up our next window since we will have to sign more players with limited budgets. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Justin. That doesn't make much sense from what I'm reading. We can afford Dalot now. So Manchester United, if we qualify for Champions League, we'll have more money. And that money would have come in from revenues from the Europa League through winning that. The next financial year opens on July 1st. This wouldn't mess up our strategy in a way at all, because I think Gyökeres would come in the new financial year anyway. I still think Manchester United would go out and buy Liam Dalot first before the end of June. And then we could go and get Victor Gyökeres. That's how I see it anyway. Let's get some more comments in. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Every day we are signing a different player. It's all BS, pal. No, it's not. It really isn't, because every single club is talking to every single player. It's not. It's just who decides to pull that trigger, my friend. So, yeah, I think the reality of it is we can't sign anyone yet, and people are using that as something to come back against all of these rumours with. Yeah, we know that. The window's not officially open. But Manchester United are already making moves behind the scenes. And we know this because we've had the big cheeses in Romano and Ornstein saying that Manchester United are actually in for these players. So, yeah, this is exactly what we want to see. Preparation being made and actual things happening. Even if we know that we can't sign these players right now, as a United fan, you should be excited that all of this noise is actually going on, because it means we're being proactive and we're actually ready for a window to actually open for a change. That's how I see it anyway. How do we get membership before me? I am more active than them. You might have upset someone, Nico. He'll come back around, mate. Don't you worry, buddy. Let's see. Where are we at here? Some more comments on this one. Forget about Gyökeres and Dalot and go get Osimhen, says Lebcon. I don't think that's on the agenda anymore, mate. I think we're very, very clear on that one, and I think it was made clear that there was something said, or there is something actually behind the scenes with Osimhen that wasn't fitting. with Manchester United and other Premier League sides for that matter. Where are we at, Reds? Are United serious about Gyökeres? That's the question in the poll that's live right now as well, everybody. Oh yes, no, I don't believe it. It's very close at the moment. Get voting on that if you are live right now. Obviously, if you are watching later on as well, get your comments in. But there is a poll running up on the community tab on YouTube for FUTV, which is, what's the better deal for Manchester United? Liam Delap or Victor Gyökeres? I think we're creeping around about 1,500 votes on that one now alone. And it is a landslide right now for Victor. A good alternative to Mastantuono is Gilberto Mora, 16-year-old in the Mexican League, getting scouted by big teams. Could be a lot cheaper, more than likely will. I heard months ago Ruben and Victor had a verbal in place with each other, says Dylan. The stories have never gone away with Gyökeres. The only story that has kind of led us astray has been the Athletics one of United not wanting to spend 58 million on a player who's turning 27. I've said this all along. Manchester United cannot be in the market for these marquee elite players at the peak of their powers if we're not in the Champions League. Gyökeres disappears. Probably so too does Liam Delap if things go south in this semi-final against Bilbao or we don't win the competition. Let's not forget, all of this talk right now and everything that we're discussing is all around Manchester United winning the Europa League. Otherwise, you can forget it all. You can forget it all. And that's where we're at right now. Moving on to other news. Let's get into some more. We've got a ton to get through tonight. We have an update on Atalanta, from Atalanta on Ederson. They want 75 million euros all of a sudden. I think this is BS because there is also a negotiable side to that price as well. We know where the price is for Ederson. We know what Manchester United have already pre-negotiated. I do still hope that we get Ederson. It's only tonight we're talking about the forwards because that has been the hot topic. But honestly, again, I'm dropping nearly everything to get that man into our side. That's how important he is. But yes, the prices are flying around right now. As Atalanta's season draws to a close, expect more of these stories to start popping up about Ederson because he is a real target for Manchester United. He 100% is. Quickly, just to keep you updated on the goalkeeping situation, by the way. Tom Heaton is in talks over a one-year contract extension for Manchester United to be their third-choice goalkeeper. I love Tom. He is an outstanding man. Honestly, to talk to in and around Manchester United, the easiest man at the football club to talk to. He's a bloke. He really is top-notch. But United signing a third-choice goalkeeper, should that not be an academy player? That's just how I see it right now. And even Tom will laugh this off as to like getting another year of doing nothing. Except getting on the coaches and getting all these free rides, doing a bit of warm-up on the side of the pitch. He's never going to play for Man United. Why are we paying when we could be giving some experience amongst some top well, I won't say top goalkeepers, but first-team goalkeepers for an academy player? Is that not right? That's a weird one. I've seen that in the Daily Mail. But also in the same story, Ruben Amorim has prioritised other positions over goalkeeper this summer, and Andre Onana is determined to make a success of his Manchester United career. God, if this team wasn't such a mess, man, this man is going to get away with absolute murder again. And this is the worry that we've got. This is the problem that Manchester United have got right now. Because he will scupper anything that we do next season. And this is why I think you're going to have to go out and get the best of the best. If United are in the Champions League and this man's our goalkeeper, you're going to have to have Gyökeres and Buddy Delap and Cunha and probably another 10. You might as well bring Shirky in because you're going to have to create and score that many goals just to cover this guy in the other at the other end of the pitch for the amount of clangers that he drops. That's where we're at with that again. This is leading off the back of last week as well, where we said that there was an exit plan for Andre Onana, and Santiano, the journalist, European football journalist, came out and said that Manchester United are negotiating with Neom, newly promoted to the Saudi Pro League from Division 1, for Andre Onana. And then all of a sudden, that got completely kiboshed by Saudi Arabian football expert Ben Jacobs. I say that lightly, but he has got a lot of links to Saudi, so I tend to listen to what he says when the Saudi Pro League stuff comes around. He said that's not happening. And then you get the Daily Mail story today, which says Andre Onana wants to make a real go of his United career. after 2 years of complete and utter carnage and blunders, now he wants to make a go of his United career. Mate, you're nearly halfway through your career at United on this current deal, and you've not even started yet. You've sent us backwards. I still don't get it. I really don't. I don't want to go on too much about Andre Onana because he does my head in. He really does. And how he's being protected, it baffles me. But yeah, I do agree that the forward line needs to be fixed. We need strikers. We 100% need strikers. There is a little bit of an update from Chris Wheeler on Diogo Dalot as well. He could be back if Manchester United make the Europa League final. Kind of desperate, innit, that if you're hoping that Dalot is going to be fit for the Europa League final and you're going to do everything in your power to try and get him back for that. I don't really think that is necessarily a priority right now. We have got cover. We're okay. And he doesn't necessarily walk right back into the side. I think there'd be that old feeling sorry for him factor and the fact that he has played for most of the season and now he's actually coming back possibly for a final that you would give him the chance to because he has been so reliable for us in terms of being available. I wouldn't say in performance. And that's up to Ruben, obviously. But if he wants to win the Europa League final, would it not be better having maybe Ahmad on that right wing-back role? Does it better? Another update on what we were talking about this morning as well from Chris Wheeler, talking about Franco Mastantuono. He says River Plate are working to tie Franco Mastantuono to a new contract as United and a number of big European clubs continue to track the star's progress in Argentina. United scouts have been regular observers of Mastantuono, but Real Madrid and PSG are also keeping a close eye on the 17-year-old midfielder who is regarded as one of the hottest young prospects in the game. He's already tied down to a contract with a 38 million release clause. I think Chris Wheeler's a bit behind on this one, to be honest. And obviously that's contracted in until the end of December 2025. So, yeah, he is contracted until December 2026. That's his new contract extension. So if anybody bought him this summer, they would have to hit that release clause, which has only just been put in. I can't see them trying to negotiate another deal for Mastantuono after the back of just renewing it a year ago. I don't see that happening because that's what happened with him. So I think Chris might be a little bit behind on that one, maybe. But obviously covering all bases in his report and everything that's going on around Manchester United right now. So let's get some more comments from you guys. If you have got anything to say on any particular story, bring it up. Let's get into that now. Charles says, have you noticed that Onana has sped up his ball play? Yeah, I don't know. He has been told to distribute ASAP, maybe. Leon says Onana, aka Pizza Fist, get him a job at Domino's. We'll have to cope another year with Mr. Flappy. It's looking that way with Andre Onana, isn't it? I knew as soon as I mentioned Andre Onana that everybody would go into meltdown mode again. He's just going to be that. He's going to be that player that just completely. Oh, no, I'm not even going to curse it. Just give me your comments. I'm going to see what you guys say. Going back to Atalanta for Ederson would just prove United never learn. They fleeced us once for Højlund and they'll do it again. No, they won't. Because United won't pay that money. Because this time we haven't got Murto. Now Murto is actually working for Atalanta. So role reversed. Maybe we could fleece Murto. That would be funny. That would be really funny. Even Mbappe will be doing the graveyard shift with this squad. They just can't shooting for their own glory, even from silly angles or distance. No one knows how to find the striker. Look, the strikers are getting chances. Manchester United are creating chances. The average XG for Manchester United is quite high. We just don't know how to finish. That's been very, very clear for Manchester United now for a while. Veronica says, I don't think I can handle another year of Onana in our club. For people's sanity, get him out. He's already cost us the Champions League. One Champions League, sorry. Cheers, everybody, for all the likes. If you're loving the content, pop a thumbs up on the video, please, everyone. Well over 200 in the bag already. Love that. Dalot in the Europa League final would kill us. He always has one brain-dead decision in him, whether it's switching off at the back post or giving away a cheap foul. You can't trust him. I would rather have Ahmad, to be honest. I would rather have Ahmad at right wing-back than Dalot all day long. Honestly, that would be where I would go. Did you see the news? Manchester United avoiding again. This is the issue that United have got. Listen to this story. You may have seen this. It's an absolute doozy, but it's about our previous manager. And everybody knows, I'm not going to hide away from it, I really didn't like Erik ten Hag. And I'm going to get loads of comments in on the show again. Adam, you just can't let Ten Hag go. You need to let it go for your own sanity. Always blaming Ten Hag. Shut up. Anyway, he was crap and he annoyed me. Manchester United, under former manager Erik ten Hag, narrowly avoided a costly transfer mistake by signing RB Leipzig striker Brian Brobby for 40 million. Dutch journalist Valentin Driessen, I think that's how you say it, I'm sorry if I've said that wrong, claims that Brobby, who was heavily linked with Manchester United in 2022, has since underperformed at Leipzig, with his market value dropping to less than 10 million. Despite scoring 7 goals in 14 Eredivisie games last season on loan at Ajax, Brobby's lack of impact in Germany, particularly after his 16.8 million permanent move to Leipzig, has led to criticism of his work rate and overall contribution. Driessen suggests United dodged a bullet and Brobby's current form does not justify the high price tag Ten Hag was reportedly willing to pay. Does he not just seriously, what is this man's thinking? We are dealing with this crap right now. Again, another player that does well in Ajax and does well in the Eredivisie. And where have we seen this story before? I don't know why I'm getting wound up about it, but it just proves, doesn't it? Look at the mess we're in now because of what this man did. And the transfers that he actually wanted in at Manchester United. It is embarrassing. Yes, it wasn't all him. You had the Murto and Arnolds of this world that were also involved in these transfers, and they're just as culpable and as to blame as what Erik ten Hag was. But still, that would be another player right now United would be struggling to get rid of that we overpaid for. And I tell you what else it shows as well. The fact that someone was charging Man United 40 million and he went for less than 17 million to RB Leipzig. That tells you how stupid Manchester United's management and recruitment team were. And how inept they were. And there's that long rope that Sir Jim Radcliffe's talking about with the previous management. How much were they given? They're given bleeding millions by the look of it, and they nearly blew it again with that one. This would have been another player on stupid amounts of money that wasn't capable of doing what was necessary in the Premier League because we haven't got a recruitment team to make decisions. The scouts probably would have said no. There were other players there that we could have signed instead of him, but some idiots within Manchester United, Ten Hag, Murto, Arnold, would have all been looking at this and going, this looks like a good deal. He's played in the Eredivisie and he's scored goals this season for Ajax. That's worked well for us before. Completely forgetting about the stupid decisions that we made with other players from Ajax. My God. It just goes to show that we're in a miles better position right now. Thank God. That's what I say. London, gifted membership that's gone to Louise Horan. Welcome to the membership club, Louise. Ahmad isn't good enough defensively at right wing back. I disagree, mate, to be honest, Daniel. He'd work against Bodo, but certainly not Spurs. I disagree again. I think he's perfect. I think he understands the role, and I think he would fit in miles better. Let's not forget, Ruben wants attacking wing backs, not necessarily as important in the defending side of things. The attack is where the wing backs come in. This is why he has one holding midfielder with the 3 centre-backs to cover them wing-backs going forward. And then the left wing-back would come in and push across when necessary. So I don't think it's a problem for us at all. Erik ten Hag lost with my respect with the way he dealt with Ronaldo. Adam, imagine Ronaldo here to tutor Højlund. To be honest, I agreed with him on the Ronaldo situation, mate, to be honest. I thought Ronaldo was a disgrace, personally, in terms of how he walked off that pitch. That was the biggest thing for me. And then doing an interview and slagging everyone off at the football club, including Ten Hag at the time. You don't do that. You deal with it out of season. You don't go out and publicly spill all of the gossip to Piers Morgan of all people. God, I remember that time. That was absolute carnage. Adam, mate, do you think if we get Champions League next season, could the fact Gyökeres would have the option to play in the system that made him elite rather than, say, Arsenal's system be a factor to get him? 100%. 100%, Peter. That is what he will be thinking about. He will be thinking about, there's a manager that's seen my qualities and developed me at his club, bringing me from the Championship, from Coventry into Sporting, and taking me to where I am in a system that I love. with now players like Cunha coming in as well. And yeah, I think that would sway Gyökeres. In fact, if United do get Champions League, I've said this before, the floodgates open and you could be getting anyone. But 58 million for a player like that is not marquee. It's not over the top. Again, we've not broke that £60 million mark. Whereas we've done that how many times previously over the last few years? I think it's a sensible transfer. He's not going to be anywhere near as much money as what Osimhen was asking. Osimhen was up there with 375 grand a week. I think you're getting Gyökeres for 200 grand a week wages. Plus bonuses, but if he hits them bonuses, it means we're doing well in the Champions League and the Premier League. So I've got no issue at all. I think Gyökeres is worth that money all day long. And there's no better striker in Europe right now. Let's not forget, everyone will say Gyökeres, Portugal, Champions League. Do we need to even mention the Champions League and the goals it scored? Does that competition not count as competing at the highest level? Do we have to just say that because he's playing week in, week out in Portugal, that's what we've got to judge him off? No, he's done it on the Champions League stage. This was always my argument with the likes of Jonathan David and people saying he's playing in France. No, he was one of the leading goal scorers in the Champions League as well. And that, I think, tells you everything. Cal says, Gyökeres surely at 27 wants to win the Champions League with a top side and not come to us and get the next season and miss out for the next 4. You're just guessing there at how bad it might be, mate. But let's not forget, this is a completely different setup at Manchester United right now. And you can think negative, mate. And to be honest, Cal, you're going to be sat there week in, week out moaning about everything that United are doing. If United go out and get him, you're not going to complain, are you? And that's where we're at right now. United need to get out there and get these deals done. Simple as. Tunnel Vision says, Champions League or not, Gyökeres isn't picking United just for the badge. Arsenal have a clear identity and settled squad and a manager that knows how to develop forwards. You kind of just described Ruben Amorim there as well, mate, in contradicting yourself a little bit. Because Ruben does have a system. He has a system that Gyökeres knows. He's in the Champions League. And if he's playing in that system and he's going to bring us them goals, and United will be competing in the top 4 again alongside the likes of Arsenal. I'm telling you right now, if you get Gyökeres, Cunha, Ederson, Dalot, if we're in the Champions League, this all is, then Man United will be next to Arsenal next season. I can tell. I'm confident in saying that. These are the players that change Manchester United. The only thing that concerns me is that duck egg in goal. That's it. That's the only thing that I'm starting to worry about when it comes to Manchester United's window. We can do all of this good work, and then it can be undone by that man in the goal. Careful. There you go, Carl. No, I want him 100%. I just can't see it happening. Not with all the other top sides needing strikers, and he can go and win things at 27. Look, Manchester United have won a trophy the last 3 years if we win the Europa League. He's coming to a club that's won more than Arsenal. He's come to a club that's won more than Chelsea, then Newcastle, then Villa, then who else is up there? Forest. Like, literally, if United win the Europa League, players coming in are going to be coming in to a team that under Ten Hag won the League Cup, the FA Cup, and if we do win the Europa League this season, then we've won the Europa League. We've won everything but the 2 big trophies. So it's not like United are not winning things, and we can't say that players are going to look elsewhere because this team is never competing. Look, how many finals have we been in? Like, seriously, like, we do make it to some competitions. I know that's not everything, and league titles are what's important, but I think that Gyökeres would come to Manchester United. I think the allure of Ruben Amorim and being a striker for Manchester United, I think he still feels he can win things. And this is why the Cunha deal is so important. So important. And that is because he is showing that he wants to go to Manchester United and play in this system under Ruben Amorim and be one of them players that takes Man United forward. Not necessarily looking for the glory straight away. That's what I think is going to trigger a lot of other players as well. Because when one comes, it makes the other think, and it's like, oh, hang on. You've got him, and if they get another one, then this really could be a team going into next season. And that, I think, is how you look at it. I'm obviously, it's a bit of a guess, but like, why would Cunha come? He believes in it. And if one person does it, it is infectious, isn't it? It's like, why is he going? all right, I might want a piece of this. And that's how it goes, I think. And the more that we get, like if you get Cunha and then Gyökeres comes in, and you can pretty much nail it on. The likes of Ederson will follow as well, people like that, and you're really starting to make a statement in the window. Look, all fairy tales, all if buts and big maybes, because it all comes down to Thursday night. And tomorrow we will be beginning our big build up to the Europa League semi-final against Bilbao. It is going to be absolutely epic. It's going to be a bonanza. I'm going to be stressed out to high heaven. I will be doing a full day's build up to the game on Thursday as well. Tomorrow we have the normal news stories and everything building up towards the evening. They've got the press conference later on by Ruben Amorim as well. So all of that to come as well, everybody. But that is our show tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely great numbers again. Drop your comments in below if you are playing catch up right now. All of your main topics were in the first 20 minutes of the show there, everyone. Hit the subscribe button up on your screen right now. Give the video a like on the way out. Thank you, mods, for helping out in the chats. All new members, everybody who donated in the video as well. That is it for tonight. Have a great evening, everybody.